Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Little Hen says it's time to rock and roll.
All you people are so scared of me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Man, that's just me.
I'm Batman.
This is Sparta!
There is a tiger in the bathroom.
I'm an excellent driver.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
New lives with no more looking over our shoulder, and we're just gonna buy our freedom.
That's right.
You realize we're talking about going up against the most powerful guy in all of Rio?
Yes, we are.
Then we're gonna need a team.
Hello and welcome back to this week's Monday Movie Show, to the DVD and Blu-Ray section. Coming up in this part of the show, we have a very quick version of rundown of the UK DVD and Blu-ray top 10 and reviews of these new releases.
We have Gangster Squad, Hyde Park on Hudson, The Last Stand, Parental Guidance, Texas Chainsaw, Laura, Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn, Kill for Me, and then Andy has a couple of other films called The Liability and Stranded, if he's got enough time to go over it, and TV Movie of the Week.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end of the show though. First of all, straight into the DVD and Blu-ray top 10.
Yep, number 10 is Looper.
I'm just going to go with these one-word sort of reviews this week, just because we're going to go quick. Buy it. Or buy.
Yeah, unless they're new releases. I forgot to quickly mention that White Collar Hooligan 2 went in at number 37, and Playing for Keeps went in at number 22. I'm not going to mention.
Is that starring This is Sparta? Jared Butler.
No. Yeah, it's starring Jared Butler. I didn't know he changed his name to This is Sparta. Number 9, you went for Broadchurch.
I haven't actually seen this, so I can't say. But so I mean, it's if you like David Tennant, rent it, I guess. Rent.
And Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
8, Pitch Perfect.
Rent.
Yeah, Rent. I agree with that. Number 7, True Blood 5th season.
Rent if you're a fan. Although you've probably already seen it if you're a fan.
A lot of discs to rent in that case.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Quartet.
I haven't seen this one, so you're going to have to say. So would you say buy, rent, or avoid?
Rent. It's a rental. Just to see what Dustin Hoffman can do as a director. Number 5 is The Hobbit.
Well, for me it's buy. For you, I know it's rent.
Yeah, definitely rent for me. Buy for Andy. Yeah. Number 4, The Impossible.
And we agree on as buy.
It definitely couldn't go any higher than buy it. When we're saying buy and rent, it sounds something really wrong. So, yeah, it was my fault for saying drop the it part.
Well, it's pretty much the same for the next three, the top 3 films, I think.
Yeah, number 3 is The Life of Pi.
Yeah. Which we're saying to buy. I mean, you've got to buy this and buy it in the 3D if you've got a 3D television or projector or some other way of showing it.
Yeah, number 2 is Les Miserables.
Yeah, definitely buy that. It's fantastic. I mean, what more can you say other than it's amazing? Even we know Stuart, who watched it on from page to screen, finally watched it and he liked it. And he was like, I'm not going to like this. I don't want to see it. And he saw it and he liked it.
I just got distracted there in the live chat by Booga saying Wet Tiger film. So I'm guessing, I'm hoping that he's referring to Life of Pi, not Les Miserables, as the Wet Tiger film.
And he turned Les Mis off for 50 minutes. Booga, you are dead to me.
Yeah, why? And number 1, and you went for Django Unchained.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it. Buy it. Just kind of close your ears and stick things in your ear. Close your eyes and stick things in your ear when Quentin Tarantino turns up about 2/3 of the way through the film and then ignores.
Just fast forward slightly through that bit. It's only like 5 minutes that you can easily fast forward through. So just fast forward through it.
And we're going to just have a quick break for an ad. I know we only just started and just went through that, but we've got a quick ad to play, and then we'll go straight on to our many reviews that we have this evening.
Hey folks, it's Al the Bald Gamer Dude from Menage a Geek Podcast, and I'm here to ask you, what do you want in a podcast? Is it talking? Is it funny stuff? Is it two guys and a girl having a chat? Is it video game news? Is it movie news? Is it TV stuff? Is it just geek all out your ears and into your brain? If it is, then why are you not listening to us? We're on Spreaker, we're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, we're on Twitter, all Menage a Geek. Menage a Geek. Listen to us.
So, welcome back. That is Al or the Bald Gamer Dude, as he's also known, and Menage a Geek. Check that out because it's a good laugh, and they're just genuinely having a chat about everything. So there'll be something in there of interest for people, not just gamers. Let's move on to our first review.
Yeah, just a quick hello to the people in the live chat. We always keep on forgetting about them, considering that we're trying to fast forward through these reviews as quickly as possibly can. And I've just wasted up a little bit of time by saying that, haven't I?
Come on.
Gangster Squad, directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland and 30 Minutes or Less. Is a director who's actually gone a bit downhill. Another one of those Todd Phillips ones where he's directed one good film and then after that he's sort of like hit rock bottom, to be honest. It's set in 1949 in Los Angeles, and it centers around a head gangster called Mickey Cohen, who's played by Sean Penn. He's the kind of guy who's evil. He's just literally evil. He's a walking embodiment of evil. And there's a cop who's played by Josh Brolin, who plays Sergeant John O'Mara, who wants to actually stop his nefarious stuff that he does in the city itself. Here's a clip.
I'm Jerry.
Say, Jerry, I bet you got a ducky war story behind that lighter.
Yeah, sure, I got stories. I got shot down once over the Pacific. I spent the night hanging onto the wing of the plane and I had sharks bumping my legs in the dark. Are you weak in the knees yet?
Sure I am. Let's see, you're not quite big enough to be a Shylock. I give up. What's your racket, handsome?
My racket is I'm a Bible salesman.
You want to take me away from all this and make an honest woman out of me?
No, ma'am. I was just hoping to take you to bed.
So Josh Brolin's character has decided to try and get as many people together as he possibly can because he is on the police force, but he needs to work undercover to try and stop Josh Brolin, Sean Penn's character. He gets together people including Ryan Gosling, who you heard in the clip there, and Giovanni Ribisi as well, and it just plays out where they need to try and stop everything that Mickey Cohen is doing. Now, the movie has a really good style to it. It has a style of the 40s. It's very like L.A. Noire, the game. It has the music like L.A. Noire. It looks like L.A. Noire, and you might as well say it. This L.A. Noire is a very like carbon copy of Gangster Squad. It's like Gangster Squad, the game. The problem is, it's just a pretty boring movie. Even though you've got the set pieces that's happening and the evil character of Mickey Cohen, he's just very comic book like. It feels like there were real pastiches of characters that Ruben Fleischer had ideas of, but then just thought, screw it, let's turn up the cheese and the cliches to maximum and make a film like that. It does fall under the category of all style and very little substance. The cinema scene that was which caused controversy with the film, where the film had to be put back a few months, it wasn't in this movie, this version that I watched anyway. If it was in the cinema version or whatever, then
it wasn't. No, they I think they replaced it with a scene in Chinatown.
Yeah, I don't get why it was overly controversial. I know it was because of the cinema one, but you could have left the film for a couple of months, released it a few months later, and kept the scene in it. It wouldn't have harmed anything. It's a movie that's set in the 40s, not a movie that's set in present day. I just don't like it when they do that. It's not a good film, to be honest. And it's like I've said, it's the thing where Ruben Fleischer, he's directed a really good film, a cult classic now, in Zombieland, and then he followed it up with a bit of a stinker with 30 Minutes or Less, and then he's just carrying on with Gangster Squad. Considering the talent on board, Josh Brolin and Sean Penn and Ryan Gosling, it's just a bit of a damn squid, to be honest.
The thing is, I remember seeing it at the cinema. I haven't seen it since then, but I was disappointed with it. But I did find it kind of was satisfying at the end, but not any more than that. I just found that it kind of, like you said, it just didn't capitalise on, like it was a damn squid. It just got to the end and nothing really happened.
It has a checklist. It has a checklist of everything. Like I said, it's a cliche movie, and he has the cliche checklist down beside him, and he's ticking everything off. You need a shootout. You need a proper gangster style shootout in a place like Chinatown. You need the ending that it's got. You need a few shocking scenes, one involving a drill and things like that. So it's just a checklist of cliches.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It is a checklist movie. I'm going to go on to Hyde Park on Hudson, which is the drama from Roger Mitchell. It's based on the true events during the late 1930s and early 40s when the King and Queen of the UK went to the US to actually visit President Franklin Roosevelt. And they went to visit him at the Camp David, sort of the the reserve where the President of the United States will go and stay. They go there for a visit to see him, and while he's there with a lot of people, including a good friend of his, played by Laura Linney, who plays Daisy, who is sort of a distant relative, but is also this ongoing question of whether or not the relationship between her and Franklin Roosevelt was actually something more. It's all sort of focusing on her as she then arrives at Camp David. She goes there. She ends up becoming kind of his sort of confidant a bit. She is sort of wandering around Camp David while the King and Queen are there. And the King and Queen, played by Olivia Colman, who plays Queen Elizabeth. And you have the King, who played by Samuel West, is basically playing the same role that was played by Colin Firth in The King's Speech. And it's all about this sort of whole thing of the question of when they were there, how uncomfortable the King and Queen felt because of the fact of the whole thing of the difference between US and UK and those sort of weirdness that comes. Here's a clip.
To His Majesty, the King.
Inside, everyone was on their very best behavior.
His Majesty the King.
And to Her Majesty, the Queen. Actually, normally we wouldn't taste the Queen.
What is that for?
We've been told the Queen is served exactly 30 seconds after the King.
A tray with Mrs. Astor's 24 plates collapsed for no reason just before the soup.
What happened?
I don't know, ma'am. No one touched it.
I suppose an angel just passed, a big, clumsy one.
You have in the movie Bill Murray plays Franklin Roosevelt, and he is fantastic in the film. He is great. He's found his acting in the last sort of 10 years after he stopped really doing these comedy moments and started doing these real good drama ones. And he is absolutely fantastic in it. Laura Linney is perfectly fine in it. I didn't think she was especially outstanding. I didn't think she was bad in it at all, though. And I think that Olivia Colman is fantastic in it. I think it's a shame Samuel West is perfectly fine in it, playing the King, playing Bertie, as we know him. But from the King's Speech, it kind of suffers because of the fact that he's not Colin Firth. He doesn't bring Colin Firth's level of performance to the role. And for that, I mean, I've seen this, and I saw someone else I was speaking with a while ago about this, and they went, that was the same character? They didn't even realise that it was supposed to be the same character, the same person. And that is one of the problems with that, him being in it and not Colin Firth. If they had Colin Firth in this, it would have got a big thing about it, and it would have just been such a spectacle. It would have been so much just more into it. Because
the problem there, do you think it would have been just a bit of overkill if you played the same character twice in two different films?
No, I don't think it would have been. Because it's the thing of that there's scenes which are between Franklin Roosevelt and Bertie together, basically the two of them. And if it had been Colin Firth and Bill Murray, it would have just been pure gold on the screen. I mean, it's a good drama piece. There's good acting in it. It's not necessarily going to be to everyone's taste. There'll be moments in it where people are watching it and they'll be bored. They will be wanting it to sort of skip on ahead. So it's only for people really who are interested in this sort of, because it is based on true events, and also this question to say around whether or not there was something more than just a friendship between Franklin Roosevelt and Daisy, and because of the fact that he was married. So it's a question, if she was there as just a confidant, as a friend, or if there was something more going on that shouldn't have been. And it kind of steps on it. The film doesn't say yes or no. What there was or there wasn't. It does walk this line. So if you're looking for by the end of it for there to be a definite answer, there isn't one. You have to make up your own mind by the end of it as to what's going on. So it's a sort of open-minded film, and it's for anyone who's open-minded, who wants to see this and is curious about this, but not for everyone, I think.
So the caveat to take away from the film is put Colin Firth in the film instead. Do a recut of the film with Colin Firth in it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be curious to see, to anyone who's seen this film, if they first of all realise that it's the same character, the same person being played by Samuel West instead of Colin Firth, because as I said, someone else I know already said, wait, that was the same one? That was the same character, same person? I'm like, yeah, didn't you realise that? And they're like, no. And it's purely down to the fact that the performances of the two. Samuel West is perfectly fine in it. He's not Colin Firth. If there had been separate films at different times, and then someone had gone, oh, he's playing the same character as that, people would have gone, oh, that's, they'd get it. But I think because the fact that the two came out very close together as well.
And the fact that Colin Firth did a better job.
Yeah, that they're not recognised. I think that because The King's Speech did such a great job with the character, that Hyde Park on Hudson suffers because of that.
Yep, okay then. The Last Stand is directed by Ji-Woon Kim. I think this was his first...
First English-speaking film.
Yeah. It's ironic that he gets the actor and Arnold Schwarzenegger to be in it. Yeah,
I'm not saying anything on that.
Yeah, I know. Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to step back in front of the camera as a lead role, and so this was the first film that he decided to choose. It's a very small kind of film. He plays a character called Ray Owens who lives in this small town in Summit Junction, which is, like I said, it's a really small town considering that he's more used to being a police officer for the LAPD, but an accident occurs and he has to be the sheriff of this town. Very little happens, very little crime happens. However, this sort of like really horrible guy escapes from prison, who's played by Peter Stormare. He's very used to playing this. Didn't he play the bad guy in the Scooby-Doo film?
I didn't actually watch the Scooby-Doo film, so I have absolutely no idea.
I think he played the bad guy in that, but yeah, he loves playing bad guys, and he escaped from that, and so he goes on the run. He ends up coming up to the town of Summit Junction. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character realises he's the last person who can stop him before he heads off over the border. He then ends up trying to get together this small crack team of people to make them into sheriffs, one of them including Johnny Knoxville, so he can stop Peter Stormare's character. Here's a clip.
Clarence, where's the fire coming from?
Behind you, roof next to the diner.
Cover me, guys.
Yes, sir!
How are you, Sheriff?
Old.
So what you have on offer here is a pretty straightforward action film. Schwarzenegger's decided to play it really safe in making his first film that he's come back after well over, I would say, 10 years in that region as a leading actor. I know he's popped up. He was in. He made an appearance in Welcome to the Jungle, and he popped up in I forgot the name of the film. The Sly Stallone. The Expendables.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering what you meant then for a second.
Yeah, he popped up in The Expendables, but this was his first film where he took the lead acting role in it, and he's just playing it really safe, and that's what the film is. It's really safe. It's nothing very special at all. It plods along with what it is, and if you were expecting something different or expecting something over the top action-wise, then you'll be severely disappointed. Johnny Knoxville's character is in the film in the first 5 minutes, then completely forgotten about until the hour mark, and he's in there for the comedy character which you would expect in this kind of movie. And like you said, it follows the same kind of route as Gangster Squad. It's a checklist of an action film. It takes a lot of action cliches, including one-liners, which Schwarzenegger can sort of like do really well. He was really good at doing one-liners, but it's just checklist material again. Each scene and each action set piece is just something you've seen before and done much better in other films. So I just felt it was an average to below average film.
I just want to say, I mean, I thought I quite enjoyed it. It was the same film I saw at the same day I saw movie 43, which is just absolutely awful. So that may have been an effect on it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a kind of like a modern Western, which is what I really liked about it. And I thought it wasn't trying to be anything special. It was just sort of get Arnie back into the flow of things with a typical sort of action thing. It's not anything special, but it is. I mean, there were three big action films with the three big action stars, which was Sylvester Stallone had Bullet to the Head, Bruce Willis had Die Hard 5, or A Good Day to Die Hard, which was just absolutely awful. And then you had this from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this was the best of all three of them. And I just enjoyed it. I thought it was quite well put together. You didn't need to like sit there and really pay attention to it. You could just sit there with your popcorn, have a laugh, and enjoy it for 90 minutes. And I just thought, yeah, not bad. But I did like the feel of it, the Western, and the ending of it. I kind of enjoyed.
Well, I've yet to see Bullet of the Head, which is out. I think it's next week. Or
Next week, or we got
after. So I'll get to see it then. But
yeah, you'll be reviewing that then.
I'll make my mind up on the 3 action films, but so far this is the better one.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Die Hard. Yeah,
that's rubbish.
Parental Guidance, which is the movie from Andy Fickman. It stars Billy Crystal and Bette Midler as Artie and Diane, who are a married couple who now live far away from their daughter, played by Marissa Tomei. Her character Alice lives with her husband Phil and their 3 kids. Everything's going really well for them. She works as a sort of web designer for a company. He's a guy who's sort of an inventor and a designer of this new advanced house that they've built, which is all sort of it's got this interactive computer and all assists with everything, all your duties around the house that you need to do and such. It monitors everything. One of these smart house sort of things. Everything's going great for them, but then all of a sudden they have this thing come up where they both are offered things they've got to do job-wise. They don't have anyone that they can organise to look after the 3 kids because his mother and father are away on a cruise, and so they end up having to call her mother and father after sort of having a debate about whether or not they can really trust them. They haven't seen them for years. They haven't been in touch with them. They haven't seen the grandkids for years. And they're kind of not sure, can we really leave the kids with them? Will they be safe? Here's a clip.
Hello? Hi, Dad. Alice, hey, how are you? Is Mom around? Yeah, hold on, I'll get her. Your daughter.
Put her on speakerphone.
Don't tell her I was fired.
Oh, my.
I got it.
Put her on hold.
I know.
Put her on hold.
I'm trying.
Put her on hold.
I can't.
Put her on hold.
You're making me tense.
Now put her on hold.
It's right there.
On hold.
I'm going to start a fire here.
Hi, Alice. What's going on?
Well, now that you ask, Phil has to go away next week, and I'd really like to go with him. And we need someone to watch the kids, so I was wondering, would you want to?
We'd love to. Listen, I'm cooking dinner. I'll call you back in a little bit for the details.
She said yes.
You said yes.
Artie, we practically never see our grandchildren. We've never seen their new house.
They've never been to Fresno. I just got fired. I'm licking my wound.
I'll lick them. Come on. They need someone to take care of the kids.
Can't the house do it?
Oh.
So Artie and Diane turn up to look after the kids while the parents are away, and one thing leads to another. And as you can imagine, that's kind of a film where the kids are all riotous or there's problems with them. They're all kind of sort of coddled a little bit, so they all have their issues, which the grandparents are sort of questioning. Should we look after them as our daughters told us, or should we look after them as we think? Should we tell them how we think they should be raised and stuff? So that kind of a thing in a comedy light. It is kind of predictable. I mean, we were just talking just now, saying that it's kind of fluff. And it is, but it's enjoyable fluff. It's not terrible as people have been saying about this film. When it came out in the cinema, people were really belittling it and saying it's awful, it's terrible. It's not that bad. It's not brilliant. There is no really big sort of zingy one-liners in it. There's no moment in it when I sat there and I was bursting out laughing. But there are scenes in it which are, and I'm not a parent, but there are scenes in this which I know parents will see and they will just kind of swoon at it because of the fact of that it's moments to do with kids and raising kids. There were moments in it when I was just like, okay, so we're doing this now, or we're doing this now. Things that you've seen in lots of films before. It doesn't really have anything new to it. It's but oddly entertaining is the thing, which is what I was surprised at. I went into this expecting, it's going to be awful, not going to like it. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. It doesn't quite feel that long. It gets where it's going. Billy Crystal isn't as annoying for me in this as he is in other films. Neither is Bette Midler. And I thought, by the end of it, you know what? This isn't that bad. I kind of enjoyed it.
I was expecting you to say it's rubbish fluff.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. It kind of is rubbish fluff. You've not seen anything. There's nothing new in it. You've seen it all before. But it's kind of, you know what? That was okay.
For what it is. It's better than what it could have been, because if you watch the trailers, it looks a mess.
It's not the complete disaster it could have been, no. It could have been really bad. but it's not. It's just okay. It's not especially brilliant, but it's okay.
So it's not like the complete disaster like Texas Chainsaw or Texas Chainsaw 3D, but on DVD it's just known as Texas Chainsaw. It's directed by John Lussenhop, and now this is deemed as sort of like the sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's supposedly set directly after that. And the way the movie plays out from the start, it does start off where the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre ended, with the townspeople going to the huge massive mansion where all the incident happened, and then they firebomb the mansion itself and killing everybody inside, apart from a mother and a baby. This hick hillbilly couple the father anyway, decides to kill the mother, takes the baby and raises the baby as her own. Fast forward about 15, 20 years later, and then she's grown up. She's known as Heather, who's played by Alexandra Daddario, and she's living in a town with a boyfriend. She then finds out that her grandmother has passed away, didn't even know that she had a grandmother. She then gets told that she's got to go to this mansion where her grandmother lived because she's inherited it. So her and a few friends go to this mansion. She then discovers that there is a bit of an interesting secret lying beneath the basement of this mansion, and it contains the iconic character in Leatherface. Here's a clip.
Go, go, go! The hell was that? Okay, go, go! Ryan, slow down. The gate needs to open. Give it time to open. Okay, go! Buckle up!
What happened?
The car stopped.
What?
Hey, back the hell. Back up! God, Ryan! Go! Wait for the gate to open! Oh, let's go!
So that's the typical scene where they have to get chased by Leatherface. This time it's played by Dan Yeager, and he plays it really badly. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be a direct follow-on to the original Texas Chainsaw film, and the guy who they've gotten to play him, if you want it to be a direct follow-on, you want people to believe that it's a direct follow-on, you need somebody to look around about the same age as Gunnar Hansen in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Well, they've got an actor who's easily more than 30 years older than Gunnar Hansen was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I know you've got the bit where it fast-forwards about 15 years later. So in that case, you need somebody who might look 15 years older than Hansen's character in the first one. But that's not the case. Dan Yeager, he looks, like I said, a good 30 years older. So if you're a fan of this kind of movies, and the people who is going to go to see this or watch this film are fans of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, you start noticing things like this, how much the director has changed. And with him saying it's a direct follow-on, you can't change too much. And he's gone and changed way too much. It's a dumb film. I've seen it in both 3D and 2D. Yes, I've seen it in 3D, because my cinema was only showing it in 3D. The 3D is awful 3D. It's just there because they thought we're going to make a little bit extra money because they know that the film wouldn't sell. You've got the typical thing where she hides herself in a coffin, and you've got the chainsaw coming through the coffin, so it looks like it's coming at you through the screen. There's the same where the Leatherface chases Heather in a fairground area, and he throws the chainsaw, and again, it looks like it's coming at you through the screen. The character makes some stupid decisions. The acting's awful. There is gore in the movie. It's what you're expected. CGI gore, unfortunately, not natural gore like with Evil Dead. But it's for a Texas Chainsaw fan, I actually prefer the reboots under the guise of Michael Bay than I did of this, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But Jonathan Liebesman, I thought what he did with his Texas Chainsaw Massacre film miles better than what John Lussenhop has done with this one. So avoid it and just watch the reboots, because I thought they weren't too bad, to be honest. At least they got the kind of feel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This one is just there so it can make money. And it didn't.
So I'll go on to Laura, or it's spelled Lore, but it's German. It's Laura because it's the name of the main character of the movie. It's directed by Kate Shortland. It's about a young girl who is she's German, and at the end of World War II, she and her family are all sort of having to leave, and her mother and her father and her 4 siblings are all having to sort of pack up everything quickly one night. The father, who is a German officer, is actually there taking all of his papers that he's got stored somewhere, and he's a high up important officer. He's taking them all out into the garden and burning them all. They all sort of pack up everything and leave. The father doesn't go with them, but the mother takes them. They all go to this sort of a smaller private house that they found in further away, and it's all about the fact that when the mother is then called upon herself to go and surrender herself to the Allied authorities to be imprisoned, that Laurie has to then look after her 4 siblings, which she's got two younger brothers, which are twins. She's got then a smaller sister who's even younger than that, and a newborn baby that's only sort of a year old. She then has to make the decision of taking her 4 siblings and travelling the sort of 500 odd miles across Germany to get to Hamburg, where they are looking to find relatives who they can then stay with. The whole film is though following the difficulties during wartime of, as they're travelling along, people they meet, people they encounter as they go along, whether or not they can trust them, whether they're trustworthy, whether or not they're put in danger because of this, and the situations they find themselves in as they are travelling across the country on this trek of it's over 500 miles that they have to travel. It's the first film that stars Saskia Rosendahl as Laurie. She is absolutely fantastic in the film. It is in German, it's spoken in German, so it's a subtitled film. So if you're not interested in that, then I don't really care, because you should watch subtitled films. It is an absolutely fantastic piece of character work. The kids in it as well, they give good performances too. But Laurie is the one that sort of holds it all together, central to the film. It's a real sort of surprising film. The one thing I do have an issue with it though is its running time is not quite 2 hours long. It's an hour, and I think it's about an hour and 50 minutes. But the problem is that a lot of the time during that I thought could have been better used. There are scenes where, because they find themselves in situations where they have no fire or anything, they end up sleeping in the woods together, just on a blanket. And there's scenes where they're just sort of lying around and not much is happening. And it just felt as if there were moments where it's like it's building up the time. You have to be kind of patient with it. But I kind of wanted there to be more happening, more encounters. There's also a story that builds up with a Jewish man who is travelling across country, who ends up sort of joining up with them and following them because of the fact of that with them and with him together, they can basically get food, whereas they couldn't before. And that kind of worked, but didn't work for me. There was an issue about it which kind of felt like there was no real sort of build up to that. I wish there'd been more time spent on that than there is in the movie, because it just sort of seems as if he comes out of nowhere, is there for a while, and then goes again. So I thought it was a good film. I thought the performances in it are very good, especially from Saskia Rosendahl, who is absolutely brilliant in this, and I would look forward to seeing her in anything else. But I just wish there had been a bit more. It had been a bit more developed. So if you're into foreign films and subtitle films that are a good drama piece, see this film, but be prepared to be patient with it. You need to be patient with it. Otherwise, you will get to a point, I think some people will get to a point where they'll be like, oh, I'm getting bored of this, and they'll be tempted to turn it off. Don't. Stick with it, watch it, and it's quite, I don't want to say harrowing, but it's quite an exhausting journey.
I really like this film. I thought, but I actually would use the word harrowing. It is a harrowing film.
I think you liked it more than I did. I didn't dislike it, but I just felt there was a missed opportunity with parts of it.
I thought it was. It's really rare that I like something more than Andy does, but in this case, Laura is one of those films, and it should be on your list, like Booger has just said in the live chat. It's a really interesting. I didn't think that it dragged. I thought each scene was well done for what it was. It didn't drag at all. It was a very interesting film throughout. I'll quickly get on to Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn, because this was done by Machinima Prime, as a matter of fact. What's up with a lot of places adding Prime to make them sound a bit more special? But it was done by that, and they released it in 6 parts, around about 15 minutes each, and then decided to merge it together. And it's set before Halo 4. So it tells the story of of one of the characters before Halo 4 about the UNSC soldiers training themselves up so they could ultimately be ODSTs in the long run. One of them discovers the character of Master Chief during one time where they're watching video footage back with Master Chief going up against the Flood and all the bad guys that he's going up against. And just like I said, it centers around one character who, Thomas Lasky, who's in the place training up. His brother is a much more higher up than he is, and he's just trying to be an orbital dropship trooper. If you're a fan of the Halo series, want to know what happened before Halo 4, then you'll really enjoy Forward Unto Dawn. You can actually find it on YouTube because they decided to be really nice about it and put it up on YouTube. They split it up in a 15-minute chunks, though, if you want to watch it on YouTube, so it's in that Machinima Prime. But you can buy it on Blu-ray and DVD now if you want to watch it all in one go. Like I said, if you're a fan of Halo 4, if you want to know more what happened beforehand, then watch it. It's not too bad. It's more like what they did with the Mortal Kombat reboot series on YouTube. It's done on that kind of budget, and what they get out of the budget's actually pretty decent. So it's a decent enough film for what it is.
Okay, I'm going to quickly go through Kill for Me, which is a drama, it's directed by Michael Greenspan. It stars two actresses who a lot of TV fans will recognise. You've got Kate Cassidy, plays Amanda, who stars in the TV series Arrow at the moment, and you've got Tracy Spiridakos, I think is how you pronounce it, and plays Haley, who is currently starring in the series Revolution. It's basically down to this whole thing of that Amanda is a girl who's living with friends, and she's sort of in this stigma of this issue that they have this spare room. The reason they have this spare room that's not being used is because it was a room that was rented out by one of their friends, a girl who has since disappeared, and the issues of then the person who owns the house can't really afford to keep this room held open anymore, not do anything with it, so they have to then rent it again. Haley comes into the story as the new person who's renting the room. The whole thing of that, then you have this issue of Amanda has a boyfriend who is an ex-boyfriend who kind of isn't taking the hint. The whole thing sort of comes to a head when he sort of breaks into the house and attacks Amanda. Haley then happens to walk in on this happening and sort of interrupts this, and eventually ends up actually killing Amanda's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, and convinces Amanda that because of the fact of the way it happened and such, police won't believe them, so they end up having to then bury his body and hide it and keep it secret. The thing is that then the two of them have this issue that Amanda is sort of freaking out about this whole thing. Haley is kind of like then annoyed the fact of that their relationship has then gone down this hill of that she's worried about Amanda revealing this to someone. So what she does is she discusses with her the fact of that her father, who was very abusive and lives sort of the next town over in a house, is a kind of man she wants to get rid of him and have him killed. So she discusses with Amanda the whole thing of Amanda then actually going and killing him for her, hence the title Kill for Me. It's an interesting film. It's a kind of a variation on the whole thing of Strangers on a Train. Is it Strangers on a Train? The one where there's you kill someone for me and I'll kill someone for you. I can't remember. Yeah. And it's a solid sort of drama piece, but it's just that it takes far too long to get going. Then this thing happens where the ex-boyfriend is killed. Then it just slows down again, takes ages, and then something else happens. And it's also the thing that you get to the end of the film and something happens which you're just like, wow, really? That's convenient. And I just kind of, by the end of that point, I was sort of really wow. And the thing is, Shane, there was a decent film here. There was a decent idea behind this. There was some quite well sort of set up bits. You've got Donald Logue, who is kind of one of my favourite actors. I like him, a lot of things I've seen him in. He plays Haley's father, the man who she wants Amanda to kill. And it's kind of good, but just I wanted more. Got to the end of the film, I was like, come on, do more with this. You've missed out there. And so it was kind of a very missed opportunity. Very quickly, do you want to do your TV movie of the week?
Yeah, don't you want to quickly mention the last... there's a couple of quickly films you want to mention?
Yeah, well, I should also mention, released this week as well, you've got Finding Nemo on 3D, the Blu-ray release of that. But there's also these two other films, Stranded, which is a science fiction film with Christian Slater in it about a bunch of people on a space station and a disaster happens and they're running out of air, blah, blah, blah. Really, it's like that. It's awful. And then an alien thing comes into it, which is just terrible, horrible. Avoid it. But then there's The Liability, which is a new film with Tim Roth. It's a small British film. It's a very good drama, a very good thriller. He plays an aging hitman who then ends up having to take a boy out as his driver, who he's sort of showing in the ropes, and this boy is struggling with things. But it's a great, good British drama, really enjoyable. I was surprised by it. If you can check that out, I would say to have a look at it, because it was kind of surprising. It has a weird ending, but it's also got Peter Mullen in it, who is fantastic. So check that out. If you like Peter Mullen, you'll like this as well. We're quickly running out of time. So TV movie of the week.
TV movie of the week for me is Let the Right One In. It's on film for on May the 29th. I always see it at 1:20 in the morning, and you would see it Friday on the 28th on the night time at 1:20 in the morning. This one is the original. It's the one that's directed by Thomas Alfredson, who went on to make Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which we both absolutely love. This is better than Let the Right One In, but Let the Right One In is still a really good film. This is a fantastic sort of vampire film. It has vampire elements a bit like Byzantium, which we'll review next week. It's not an out-and-out vampire film, but it has vampire elements about a little boy called Oscar who befriends this girl called Ellie, and they just become friends, and he's a kid who gets bullied in school. If you've not seen Let the Right One In, I highly recommend you watching it. If you can't stay up that late then, and you've got a Sky Plus box or a Virgin Plus box or whatever, record it. Please see it.
It's Let Me In's the remake one, wasn't it? So just avoid that one. Yeah. That's not the good one.
Let Me In is still actually pretty good, but Let the Right One In is better.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm going to say movie of the week for me. You're going to hate me for this. I'm going to have to say Last Stand, because out of all the films we've gone through, that's the one that kind of stood out. I enjoyed the most.
I didn't review it. You reviewed it this week. I would say Laura. But
Yeah, I just enjoyed The Last Stand. I liked it. It kind of kicked ass for me.
Not and apart from the Studio Ghibli films, but like I said, I doubt there'll be very few cinemas that's shown it anyway. So
that's it for this week's show. Thank you for listening to us live in the chat, guys. You're there. Really help. We really welcome and thanks for you guys. Enjoy having you in there. Anyone else listening on iTunes and YouTube, places like that, feel free to give us a quick review or quick star rating if you can. Everything is welcome. We really appreciate that if you can. We've got a quick shout out to everyone as usual, followingthenerd.com, lolacourse.co.uk, who are going live after us this evening. From page 2 screen, the number 2 screen 2.com. Menage a Geek, who you heard the ad during the show. The Time Warriors, the Seren Foundation. If you feel free to check out the website and donate to them what you can. We'll be back again next Monday at 7:30. Thank you for listening to us. Until next week. Until next week, when we'll be reviewing, among other things, The Purge and Byzantium, hopefully. Until then, we'll leave you with this clip of an upcoming movie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gru, it's Jillian.
There's Jillian. I'm not here.
Gru's not here. Are you sure?
Yes, he just told me.
Agnes, where's Gru?
He's putting on lipstick. He's swatting a bug.
I wasn't sure how long you were speaking of me clips, but I was thinking it was going to be probably about a minute.
He's pooping?
Despicable Me Too.
Looking at him like
Rated PG.
I haven't heard this.